Let's see what this is all about.
If it's on the beach and if it's on Winthrop, then it's basically not over, but it may be on Winthrop. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's going to be declined. So that's a big point conversion.
It's huge because the lead is 9 points, and it forces them to score twice.
Right.
And that makes a big, big difference with 5:50 left in the game.
Well,
but nevertheless, it's still a heck of a game, isn't it?
Heck of a game. It's turned into a, I thought I was going to be taking a nap in the second half.
Yeah.
But, I guess I should keep awake for this because this has been a really good second half. They've made it a good football game. 23-14 with 5:50 left, and if you don't predict onside kick here, then we don't know anything about football.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
And actually, it was a very good onside kick, I thought, the last time, and I thought they had a real good chance to recover that football. Now, if you notice in the front row of the beach, you got Bickford, you got Don Dubois. You know, look right up the middle here. Salamanca. Fast kids with good hands.
Yeah.
So, barely, there's not many people back deep for the beach. I'm not sure that's Gerard or...
Only one boy is back there. It's Parker.
No, it's Parker. Back.
And they're going to go deep. Well, we don't know anything about football, Andy.
Okay.
Because we said if they don't, we know nothing about football.
Parker
just falls on it on the 5-yard line.
All right. Glad I didn't say I'll eat my hat. Because,
what happens, though, you know, if the defense can come up big, they've got them pinned at their own 5-yard line. If the beach, let's say, has to punt out of there, they still come out with great field position.
Or if it's a mistake and they fumble the ball way down here, then
anything can happen.
You saw Parker wasn't very deep, and the game plan from the coach was probably if you got a shot, to kick it down there, go ahead.
Yep.
But they got to come up big defensively here. They've got to put a stop right away on the beach to get the ball back.
The deep back is Dave Gerard, and he's got the ball. He's following. Look at the blocker! Look at him go! Look out!
They may not catch
Gillespie catches him, and I don't know if I've ever seen him caught. Number 81, Gillespie catches him as he gets out to the 49-yard line. Takes care of field position, as Marcus said.
No, 45-yard run.
Yeah,
46
yards on the first down run by Dave Gerard, and it sort of changes things very quickly.
That's gives them almost 200 yards. It just doesn't seem like it,
Yeah, when did it happen, right?
5 rushes, Raj. 19, 32, 49, 47, and 46 yards. Talk about a game breaker.
There you go. He's the deep back again. Handoff is Ralph, I think. I assume it's Ralph. It is. And he'll fall forward for maybe a yard.
I think all they want to do here, too, is just control the clock right now.
Sure.
Keep the ball on the ground and run off maybe 3 minutes or so.
5:20 left on that clock, just about, and everything is in the Seagull's favor.
Winthrop's in a position now where they need two, like you mentioned, 2 scores.
Yes.
And, without them getting the ball back with 2 or 3 minutes left.
That's going to be awfully tough. Pitch out, maybe? No. Don holds on to the ball on the option and loses a yard. Good defensive play.
Yeah. Be a loss of a yard.
Back to the 50. It's 3rd and 11. A long third down situation. Maybe we throw, or maybe we find Dave Gerard again.
Well, Beach gets a first down here, Rod. You can just about ice it. Because they'll kill off another 2 or 3 minutes if they get the first down.
It's 4:30 now and counting. Gerard bounces away from a couple, tries to go outside, does. Tries to cut back, is driven out of bounds. The out of bounds is important because it stops the clock.
Right. It's not something that really I don't think they wanted to do.
No. It sets up a 4th down and still pretty long yardage, 4th and maybe 8.
And remember one time when they punted, they fumbled, and the Ramblers were able to get possession, which they never did score on.
No,
it was late in the first half, but still, at this point, they're a little bit fired up.
Sure. The ball's at the 47-yard line, the Winthrop 47. Just setting it up for you again. It's 4th down and about 7 or 8 yards to go.
And they do set up for punt.
Yeah. That's Jerry Hubbard standing back there. And another timeout being called by the Beach. So they're going to talk about it again, and then we'll give Mark another chance to slide in a couple of commercial messages with 4:17 left. We'll be back with the last 4 minutes of this football game right after these messages.
Halloween can be fun, but it can also be dangerous. If you follow some of these simple rules, it won't. Always go trick-or-treating with an adult.
You should always carry a flashlight at night when you go trick-or-treating.
That's right, Vicky. You should always have your parents check your candy before you eat it. If the light isn't on, then don't go to the house. Wear bright clothes so people dreading to see you. Hey, today's Halloween!
We have 4:17 left. That's Kurt Creechin down there on the sidelines, coming off the field after talking to the troops. And the Beach is set up in a punt formation. The ball at the Winthrop 47. Jerry gets it away, and that's a nice, deep boot. Takes a Beach bounce at about the 15 where it comes to an end, and that's tough field position for Winthrop, with 4:07 left now in this football game.
And they're not a passing football team, which will make this really interesting. Although, you know, he's completed 3 passes, Raj, it's only been for 20 yards. It's been when they needed it. And then he got the 2-point conversion also. So it actually looks like he's been more impressive passing than he has been.
Yes,
so,
he's found Gillespie
right
in this second half.
So 4:07 to go. They don't have the big play offense unless somebody like Bernier breaks a long one, which he has shown signs of possibly doing that.
Well, let's see what they decide to do here in the last 4 minutes. Maxim says, I got to run, and he does. He comes wide and is pulled out of bounds by David Gerard.
And right on his right shoulder.
Yeah, and down at about the 24-yard line.
I don't know why the official is really mad. There's going to be a penalty on the official, I think.
The official is called, that's right. I think the penalty will be on the coach. The official threw the flag on the coach after he had obviously said something derogatory. We apologize for all the people stepping in front of Mark's lens here, but
also, you know, where he did throw him out of bounds, he wasn't out of bounds. It's just I think the coach was angry at the way he tackled him.
Right.
But he was just trying to get the player out of bounds.
And the hard way, as Andy said, Mark just said, yeah, the hard way. They're walking it off. It's unsportsmanlike or something against the bench. And they walk it off back to the 12-yard line.
Well, after a good gain, you know, that kind of really hurts the team, that call.
2nd down and 13.
Welcome to Old Orchard Rodeo.
Yeah. And the ball is back to the 12-yard line now. 2nd and 13. Following what looked like a pretty good run by Maxim. He had picked up about 9 on that play, but
and he went out of bounds to stop the clock.
Sure.
He didn't use a lot of time up, but that play
lost it all. Now the pass overthrown, intended for Glidden in the flat. He had Gillespie deep, but Gillespie would have been covered, I think, had he decided to go that way.
3:57 to go as the clock stops again. 23-14. The Beach leads this thing. Winthrop needs two scores here, so that's going to make it really difficult. They're deep in their own end with a 3rd and long, and if you're the Beach, you kind of know they're going to throw the football, so you're going to be setting up that way.
Maxim again sprints out, comes back, still on his feet. Now he starts to move, and he's caught by Gerard. But he's got the first down, exactly. Maxim is trying to make it happen here, and he's certainly showing us a lot of moves here in this second half.
Well, we said on the outset he liked to run the football, and he has shown us that, especially in the second half. Raj, the first half, he had -11 yards.
Yeah.
Second half, he's got over a 60 or 70 rushing.
Clock, of course, continues to work its way down, but it's a first down. And the ball is handed to Bernia. Bernia is still on his feet. Now he's stopped over the 30. Gets to maybe the 32.
Pick up about 4.
Yeah, 4 is about right. So we're looking at a 2nd and 6. They hustle up to the line because the clock continues to run, and time's a wasting. They need every second. Bernier again. Now he's caught from behind as Scott Darling comes up and makes the tackle. Gain of another yard or so. It'll be 3rd and, let's call it 4, maybe
yeah,
3.
3rd and 4. 3 minutes and counting now.
We're at the 34-yard line.
Watch that rollout play again by Maxim. He has 66 yards in the second half. He had minus 11 in the first, so he does like running the football.
Yeah.
Just another weapon out there.
It's 3rd down. Of course, they'll go for everything. 3rd, 4th, doesn't matter. They have no choice. Hubbard just clobbered him, and Darling intercepts the pass, and that is probably that. Great play by Jerry Hubbard. He never saw him coming, caught him from the blind side, hit him as he was throwing. Scott Darling makes the interception, and the Seagulls take over 1st and 10 at the Winthrop 34.
Yeah, big play that time. Like you said, Maxim didn't even have a chance. Never saw him coming, and what can you say? Hubbard's figured in a lot of big plays here in this football game.
He's had a great
couple
game.
Big receptions he's had to set up touchdowns. He's had some nice punts when needed. And now he hits the quarterback, forces a turnover. Timeout by, I think, Winthrop?
Yes, timeout.
2:33 to go, and I think I'll start adding up the stats here.
Good idea. We still are hoping that we'll be able to talk to 2 more Beach players at the end of the game. And he's been able to interview these kids for the past 3 weeks or so. And they've been generally senior ball players. And today we're looking for maybe 2 more. We were hoping that they might be Jerry Hubbard, boy that we've been talking about quite a bit this afternoon, and also C.T. Broderick. But nevertheless, we will take whoever Kurt decides to send over here, and if we don't talk to them, well, that's okay. We'll catch up to a couple more next week. We have 2 minutes and 33 seconds left, and we've got a 23-14 lead for the Seagulls. While I got a minute, let me just run over handout that I got earlier today. The Friends of Old Orchard Beach Football are sponsoring a Bowl-a-rama. Yes, indeed. They need your help. They're trying to raise money to help the football and the cheerleading team's expenses during the playoffs will be coming up, and ultimately they believe the state finals. Let's get back to the game. Handoff is to Dave Gerard, and he's going to be stopped at the 35, loss of a yard. The goal is to raise funds while having the participants enjoy themselves. They've come up with a different way of raising funds to accomplish that goal. A bowl-around at Vacation Land Bowling Center in Saco on November 1st. It'll start at 8 o'clock. The lanes will be set up as soon as the pledge form is completed and returned with the funds raised. Once again, that's at the Vacation Land Bowling Center in Saco on November 1st at 8 o'clock as the timeout is on the field. Gives me a little more time to read this off. Who can participate, you ask? Well, of course, football players, cheerleaders, family, friends, anyone who wants to have fun while raising funds for the teams. The participants will each need a pledge form to complete. All participants must raise a minimum of $15 if you want a bowl. You got to come up with $15 on your pledge forms. And if you raise that $15 minimum, you'll be eligible to bowl 3 strings for free, and that includes the shoe fee. That's very nice. It's an opportunity for the entire family to have a great time. All players, cheerleaders, are asked to return their completed forms and funds by October 30th to Ralph Dubois, one of the captains here in the field. And we'll get a little bit more football. Hero fumble. Don falls on it. It'll be a loss of about 4 and a 3rd down coming up. Anyway, you can hand it to Ralph. All others are asked to bring their completed forms and funds to the bowling center on November 1st. Roger Veer and Kathy Dubois will be present at the bowling center at that time to supervise the activities. So we're pleased to see that the football team and the cheerleaders are working so hard to help themselves. And with your help, this project will be a great success. Everybody's very proud of everybody, so bowling for dollars. Inside to David Gerard, and the short gain of yard, maybe not even that. It'll be 4th down, and only a minute and a half left now, Andy, and we've just about wrapped this one up.
Yeah, 4th and long, and if I don't know if I expect them to kick from here, it's a minute 20 to go.
Right.
Clock's still moving. We'll see what they do. They may even run off the clock and take a penalty here, I think is what they're going to do, Raj. Delay a game. Just run as much time as they can off. I think that's what we can look for.
I would say the ball's at the 40-yard line. Offensively, they just worked backwards here over the last 3 plays. 4th and about 15, 16 yards. And a delay of game has been called against the Beach, so they're going to walk off 5 more.
Not going to hurt them too much here,
Nope.
especially if they kick. They're not giving away too much, unless, again, there's a bad snap, and anything could happen on that. So 4th and 25. Unofficially, I have Dave Gerard at 198 yards rushing this afternoon.
So he's right up there, that 200-yard mark once again.
Yeah, I mean, he could have 200, give or take a yard
Sure.
or two that I might.
Well, he's going to get a chance for more. No, he punts it away. We've seen that play before. It is going to fall. It's going to head for the end zone. And stopped at the 1-yard line.
You get better than that.
No,
50.5 seconds to go.
Jerry Hubbard stops the ball, and it's officially spotted at the 3. Well, that probably does it. We only have 50 seconds left, and we've got 9 points to make up. So
ball at the 3.
This game is just about concluded. Maxim pitches out to Bernier, who cuts back and is stopped at the 5 or 6. Again, Jerry Hubbard in on the tackle, along with Don Dubois. They get out to the 7, call it, and it's down to 30 seconds now, just about, and the clock continues to run. So, game is just about ended here on a cooling afternoon. It is definitely cooling down, isn't it?
Probably the last play right here, if they run the ball anyways. They have Bernier. I have a feeling they're going to throw to Bernier right here.
He wants to. Maxim
he's got
goes
him out
deep,
there.
and it's intercepted and then dropped by Don Dubois. Don could have held on to the ball, I think, but he just knocked it down. Stops the clock with 11 seconds left, 11.2.
Yeah, you can see that developing. And we're all set with the style. There's a penalty on the play.
Oh, yeah, the flag went down at the goal line.
On the beach. There'd be a roughing or something called, roughing the passer?
Yeah, they step off a big one, get it out to the 23.
You know, that does give his Maxim a little more room to throw the ball now. We could even fit in a couple more plays. It's 11.2 seconds left in the game. I'm sure they're going to be throwing. They had Bernier, though. He had beaten his men on their left side here. The ball was just underthrown. So you got to really watch out for that. But then again, even if he catches and goes all the way, they don't have enough time to get the ball back.
That's right. 23 points for the Beach in the first half, 14 points for the Ramblers in the second half.
Maybe I can do the Beach's stats in a minute here,
okay,
because we're all set. So let's see what happens here.
All right, we've got maybe 2 plays, maybe only 1. See what happens. Maxim throws and hits his intended receiver in the back of the helmet.
Yeah, if he turns around, he has it.
Yep. So that stops the clock with 8.5. So we've got another play. Maybe, maybe 2 more.
No, he's going to have 2 more unless he gets the first down.
Right. 23-14. Our score.
And they seem to be wherever they're set. Well, Bernier comes out now. I thought wherever they were setting him out, they're going to be looking for Bernier.
Maxim throws in the flat. He has Glidden. Glidden sprints away from a couple, is dropped at the 37, and the clock runs out. It's all over. Our final score, Old Orchard Beach 23 and Winthrop 14. We'll stay right here. Andy will give us the stats, and then we'll see if we get joined by a couple of players later on. So, Andy, what are the fascinating numbers for this afternoon?
Yeah, well, the teams are out there shaking hands. First of all, for Winthrop, Raj, Remember, they had 24 yards of offense
That's right.
in the first half. I'll show you how much this thing turned around. They were 4 for 10 with passing-wise for only 35 yards. But rushing the ball, they were 174 yards. They had 24 in the first half, so they gained 154 yards rushing in the second half.
Wow.
For a total of 210 yards of offense. The Beach was 3 for 7. They ended up with 3 for 7 passing for 45 yards. They had 230 yards on the ground rushing, and 198 of those unofficially were by Dave Girard. So 275 yards for the Beach, 210 yards for Winthrop. So this thing got really close in the second half. If you remember at halftime, the score was 23-0. Well, we had 2 scores, and we had 2 scores by Winthrop. It was all Winthrop in the second half.
Yeah.
It was the third quarter, 1:44 left. There was a 2-yard run by Bernier, 2-point pass had deflected to Gillespie, made it 23-8. The Beach was still leading, and then in the fourth quarter, 5:50 to go. 5-yard run by, 5-yard pass, Maxim to Gillespie, and a point after the fake 1-point go for pass 2-point was no good, and it was 23-14, and that's how it ends. The Beach wins this thing at Winthrop, 23-14.
Okay, we're going to take a short pause. We'll let Mark run a couple of messages, and then we'll be back, hopefully, with a couple of interviews. If not, well, then we'll wrap it up at that time. Well, anyway, let's take a short pause. We'll be back right after this. Well, we're going to wrap it up here this afternoon. We are not going to be joined, apparently, by our 2 young men, which is absolutely okay as far as we're concerned. Again, we want to remind everybody that after today, the Beach is 5-1. Winthrop drops to 2-4, I believe. Right, Andy? 2-4. We'll be in Old Orchard Beach next week for Lisbon. You don't want to miss that one. Also a chance, we remind the cheerleaders we're going to talk to you next week, so get ready. It's going to be very, very pressure-filled for you girls, so you've got to be ready for that one. Anyway, our final score, once again, here from Winthrop, Old Orchard Beach 23. The Winthrop Ramblers 14 for old buddy Andy Poirier and the other old buddy Mark Pickard. This is Roger Pancho thanking you all. Hope you'll join us next week for more Seagull football on CTV 30. Good afternoon.
My betrothed, Prince Sarpedon.